Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am here to talk about the wise decisions that I made in the month of March 2023. April Fools! I'm actually here to talk about the things that I wasted my money on to fill the hole in my soul in the month of March. So last month, I picked up a series of DVDs and a few Blu-rays at Dollar Tree because I thought it was unique to buy movies for $1.25 at a dollar store. So unfortunately, there was nothing good this time around, which is sad for the people who produce those movies because they're not even worth $1.25 from an idiot like me. But I did pick up a DVD box set. Yes, that's right. In 2023, I picked up a DVD box set of a television program. What program? Why, Hogan's Heroes. Yes, an almost 30-year-old man picked up a TV series from the 1960s. I actually really like Hogan's Heroes. When I was in high school, there was some channel on Dish Network that would air this in large blocks, 4 or 5 episodes in a row. And I must have watched something on that channel before this, and the show came on, and I got kind of hooked. In fact, I have a really strong sense memory. What I would do is I would, play a video game on my PC. I'd be playing RuneScape, Combat Arms, Star Wars: The Old Republic, and I would listen to Hogan's Heroes and, occasionally turn around to see what the action was if it was something that, I couldn't suss out by listening to it. And, do that at the same time, play with friends. And so I have a really strong sense memory of playing Combat Arms and listening to Hogan's Heroes and eating rolled gold cheddar pretzels and drinking Mountain Dew Ultraviolet, which they don't make anymore. I actually really crave Ultraviolet. But it was a fun time, and it kind of makes me nostalgic for my high school years. And this is just a good series. It's cliche to say a show like this wouldn't be made today, but really I don't know how many networks would air a TV show set in a POW camp, because that's what this is. For those who don't know, Hogan's Heroes is about a group of Allied soldiers in a POW camp in Germany. However, they're not really POWs. They could escape at any time. They're actually spies. They're operating under the nose of the inept Colonel Klink and assisting the underground in destroying, munitions factories, rail lines, helping people escape to England or to Switzerland. And so, it's an interesting series. One of the actors, in fact, the last main original cast member, Robert Clary, just recently passed away. And it's interesting to think about because Robert Clary, he was 96 years old, so he had a long life. But Robert Clary was a Frenchman. He played the French officer, Corporal Lebeau, and he was actually a Holocaust survivor. He was sent to the Buchenwald concentration camp. He survived, thankfully, but most of his family didn't. And he managed to survive one of the most horrible things that a group of people could do to another group of people. And not only that, he made a career out of making fun of the people who did such a horrible thing to him. And he managed to live 96 years. And so I think that's kind of special because, he lived a long life. He overcame one of the most horrible things in human history. And not only that, he got to mock the people who were doing it to them, to the world. He got to be on television, not just in the United States, but this aired around the world, and he got to mock them. And so I think that's kind of great. Unfortunately, Bob Crane, sad story there. Bob Crane did not meet a happy end, and so, kind of a sour note to begin with, but I like Hogan's Heroes. If you haven't seen it, go watch some of it. It may not, fit your sensibilities, but I really do like this show. Moving on, everything else is video games, kind of. I went into a GameStop, the places that sell Funko Pops, the Funko Pop store, and I bought one of these. This is a Tiger Electronics handheld game. It's not used. This is brand new, out of the package. I just opened this. They're making these again. And I spent too much money on this because of nostalgia. I didn't have the X-Men one as a kid, but we did have several of these that were just kind of floating around. And in fact, I remember most of ours did not have the battery cover. They had been missing, so the batteries would just, occasionally get knocked out while you were playing this thing. I mostly got this as something to keep around the house. I keep toys around here and small little games for people to fidget with. And so this is really going to sit on the edge of my couch for somebody, if I'm having guests over while I'm cooking or, something else. Hey, somebody honked a horn outside. Hey, it's hailing really hard outside. Anyway, we are, I'm going to use this basically to entertain guests, I guess. If they are bored while I'm, doing something else, they can play with it. Of course, there's a bit of this that's nostalgia for me because this is the X-Men that I grew up with, the Jim Lee designs, the ones that were in the cartoon. And so, yeah, I wasted money on this, but it's kind of a conversation piece. If I'm in there cooking and, my friend or one of their kids, wants to fiddle with this, I don't care. Better them touching this than something in my game room. Moving on, I picked up this. What is it? It is blank. It's actually Rambo for the Sega Master System. Technically, it's Rambo Part 2, First Blood, if I can hold up the manual. But yeah, the game just says Rambo. I had Rambo on NES. I still have Rambo on NES, but as a kid, I played it quite a bit. I know that game gets a lot of flack, but I actually do like it. I like it as a side-scroller. I think it's fun. This game's a little bit different. This game is a top-down shooter. But unfortunately, this either came, either just with the game and the manual, or it came with a damaged front cover, or didn't have a front cover, so it was like this. And of course, usually where the plastic would be to hang this on a rack, that's also broken off. But it's just a blank cover. When I bought it, they'd actually slipped the manual in the front so you knew what it was. And I wanted the manual inside, to protect it. And so when I took the manual out, I actually realized that this wasn't just a piece of white paper. Sadly, this piece of white paper that they put on the outside cover is actually Sports Talk Baseball for the Sega Genesis. I don't know why they chose to do it this way, but yeah, this is an actual cover that is more valuable being white, so the store that I bought this from could sell Rambo, than, as an actual cover for Sports Talk Baseball. Moving on, I have several items that I purchased at an antique store. So I go to antique stores quite a bit. I like, I like antiques. I like something that has a little bit of history to it. I mostly look for toys. I like to buy toys. I have a whole shelf off screen of just old toys that I bought, especially tin toys. I love like spaceships and stuff from the mid-'60s. I love buying stuff like that. But this antique store gets weird stuff. So for example, this antique store somewhere, I don't know if somebody, a store went out of business or somebody acquired just a box of these. They're all still shrink wrapped. I didn't buy any of them, but this store has a massive number of UMD movies. So movies for the PSP. They're just all on a shelf, still in shrink wrap. I don't know how they wound up there. And it's not like, somebody gave a collection. And these are unopened from when they were sold. They're all about $5 or $6, somewhere around there. So the store's clearly not asking much for these things. And they're all basically brand new. And it's not like one movie of each. It's like there's 5 or 6 of the same movie. So it's like somebody got a box that was sent to a store and it wound up at this antique store years later. But this store actually did have video games. So places like this are hit or miss, because when you get somebody who deals in antiques, you don't know what they're going to do with video games. And this place is all over the map. They had like Madden 2012 for $30. No, I don't know where they're getting those numbers. I don't know if the person is just thinking, oh, this is kind of new, we'll price it higher. It's just very, very strange. And so for $4, I got Bump and Jump for the Mattel Intellivision. I like the Intellivision. I like my second-gen consoles. I have, 2600, Intellivision, ColecoVision, 5200, Fairchild Channel F, Magnavox Odyssey, Magnavox Odyssey 2. And yeah, I really like, these older games. And for the most part, with something like this is me forcing my friends to sit down and play it with me while they suffer and I get some sadistic joy out of it. But yeah, Bump and Jump, classic arcade game, happy to have it. I didn't have it as part of my Intellivision collection, and now I do. Another Intellivision game. This is Triple Challenge with tournament chess, checkers, and backgammon. I don't know the first thing about backgammon. I love chess. Chess is my favorite board game. Checkers is fine, but yeah, I never learned how to play backgammon. But yeah, I mainly got this one because of how 1980s this looks. It's all this grid design pattern, how exciting they're trying to make chess and checkers. I do find chess exciting when you're playing it, but it's not really exciting when it's just a piece there. But they made it a cool futuristic grid pattern. The other thing I like about this is, well, number one, this is an actual sticker. This isn't just on the box. This is a sticker that somebody put on it when this was new. And then it says right down here, for color TV only, meaning that this was coming out at a time in which people were finally saying, enough of that. We're going to start focusing completely on color TV. We're going to be making stuff that you can't really see or won't work on a black and white TV. My guess with this is that by putting this on a black and white TV, I'm going to guess that the colors don't, well, obviously there's a color on a black and white TV, but I'm going to guess that it makes it hard to actually play the game. That you can't differentiate between what is black or what is red in checkers, and so it just makes it impossible to play the game that way. Finally, at the same weird antique store, it was such a strange area. There was a glass case, and you were allowed to open it on your own, but the side that I was trying to get this next game out of was missing a handle. There was no handle to open it, so I actually had to open one side and reach inside and push open the door from the inside, because it was just a simple magnet. I just needed to grab a hold of the case to open it, but there was no handle. So I had to reach across everything to knock this open. Now this game was in good company because right next to it was Bratz for the Game Boy Advance. And this game, when I looked at it, looked just like this. And I did not recognize the art on it. I could not see the name of the game, which is actually on the top, just based off of where it was put in the case. And I actually had to snap a photo of it and send it to members of Adam Koralick's Discord to say, does anybody recognize this? And like instantly, somebody said, oh, that's Alicia Dragoon. And I am unfamiliar with this game. I did play it a little bit to make sure that the cartridge still works, and it plays just fine. But this was $14. And, I guess it sells for around $30. At least that's what I was told. And so, yeah, that was a good deal. I see people online asking, $75 for a loose cart. I'm going to guess that they're not getting that. But yeah, $14 for this is a lot better than $30 for Madden 2012. So yeah, I don't get where the pricing comes from, but it's another Genesis game to add to my collection. Moving on, I bought more Sega Saturn games. That's right, I, in 2023, am stupid enough to buy Sega Saturn games. Now, in my defense, 2 of these were under $20. One of them, I would say, is on the expensive side, but it's a game that I've been pondering getting. I go into the store and looked at it, and I finally had a good month, and so I bit the bullet on this one. So, the first one up is Syberia. So, this is an interesting game. I started it, it uses tank controls, which is fine. I like tank controls. I love the original Resident Evil games. But the funny thing about this is I died almost immediately. You start the game, you go into what is supposed to be an ally's base. You're walking around and a woman confronts you with a gun, and she basically says, turn and look at me. And I still didn't have my bearings with the controls, and I turned the wrong direction, and she shot me and killed me immediately. So I'm going to read the back of this game. In a future where global terrorists rule and mankind lives on the brink of destruction, the ultimate doomsday device has just been discovered, codenamed Syberia. It was designed in an era of long-forgotten peace by the most brilliant minds in nano and cybernetic technology. In the year 2027, it stands as an instrument of humanity's destruction. So we got 4 years left, ladies and gentlemen, and we're enjoying a time of great peace, because 4 years, we're going to be ruled by terrorists and the world's going to end. But yeah, something to add to the Saturn collection. I'm never going to have a complete Saturn collection, but something to put on the shelves and play around with. The next one, I'm not a racing game guy. I occasionally will buy a Gran Turismo or a Forza. They're good benchmarks for graphics technology with a new console generation. But I'm more of kind of an alt racer type. I like F-Zero, Mario Kart, Motor Combat, and Mortal Kombat Armageddon. And this kind of falls more in line with that. And so, Cyber Speedway. So it's a futuristic racer, kind of like F-Zero. And I'll read the back of it again here. Fast forward to Earth in the distant future, where galactic supremacy is no longer decided by annihilating weapons of war, but by fiercely competitive hovercraft racing on the toughest courses in the universe. Only by becoming the best sled racer on Earth will you qualify for Cyber Speedway. Once there, you must beat the #1 pilots from rival worlds in order to protect and expand Earth's power. Get ready for a series of brutal races in futuristic vehicles equipped for blinding speed and destruction. Features music by Bygone Dogs. No idea what Bygone Dogs is. Apparently it was an up-and-coming game, or up-and-coming band in, what year are we here? Mid-90s, obviously. And look at that. There's an advertisement for Panzer Dragoon. But yeah, it's an alt racer, future racer. I did play this one actually for quite a while. It was kind of addictive. Of course, I test every game that I buy to make sure that they're working and in good shape. And I kind of got sucked into it. I did enjoy racing in this. So that's a game that I'll probably wind up playing a bit more of, maybe with friends or just to kill time. And racers. Oh, racers. So I guess I bought 2 Sega Saturn racers. I bought Sonic R. This game is known for, being the only real original Sonic title on the Saturn, and it's just a foot racing game. I say foot racing, but some of the characters use vehicles. But yeah, it's hard to control. I've been told that Knuckles controls easier than Sonic, and I'm going to be honest, I had trouble with Knuckles, so I'm going to guess that Sonic is really bad. But yeah, it's a Sonic racer, kind of infamous. I was thinking about buying this for a while, and like I said, I had a good month, and I finally bit the bullet and bought Sonic R. So, the world's most notorious speed demon pushes the 32-bit limit into extreme overdrive in a twisting, turning, upside-down, corkscrewing race for the finish line. Compete with 4 different characters, plus special hidden track smokers, and satisfy your need for speed through 5 blistering circuits. This wicked band of mock maniacs is sporting enough torque to keep you flossing bug guts out of your teeth for days. It's time to cut your Saturn loose. Good on Sega for sticking to the gross 90s stuff. And I honestly don't think that's how torque works. I actually recently had somebody, I don't know how torque works, but I did have somebody explain it to me. So I don't think physically, I think a human being can have torque, but I don't think that would apply in this situation. But yeah, it's Sonic R, everybody's Supersonic Racing, all that. Now on to modern games. I usually do modern games later, but I have more to say about these, kind of. So, the first one I got is the Nioh collection for PS5. I have been hesitant with non-From Software games that are Soulsborne type games. My brother was recently playing these, and so I liked it. I thought I would give it a chance, and I'm, interested in trying it. I saw this at GameStop, place where I bought the other one, where I bought this, and did not buy Funko Pops. But it was marked down in price, it was used, and I thought, why not? I figured at some point I would get these, and so I got Nioh, and you get both discs, disc 1 and disc 2. It's not like you get one and one's a digital download. These are the complete versions of both PS4 titles, and so, why the hell not? I don't really have a big PS5 collection. Aside from what I got today, I think I've got Elden Ring, Demon's Souls, and Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate Edition. And out of all of those, the one that I put the most time into is Mortal Kombat 11. I play it with a guy named Peanut. He sucks. I always kick his ass. but so far that has been the most amount of time that I've spent on it. So I'm trying to get more PS5 games in. This will be down the line because I'm probably going to play Elden Ring first. I still have not started Elden Ring because my brother and I are trying to sync up on that one. But yeah, I will hopefully enjoy Nioh, and I got it at a decent price, and I really do like my Souls-type games, so I'll give it a try. Up next is a little bit of a shame for me. So I really like Splatoon. And I say that because I really like the first Splatoon. I had a Wii U when people actually had Wii U's and they weren't expensive pieces that people buy just because, oh, remember that? But I had a Wii U when it was supposed to be commercially viable. And I loved Splatoon 1. I spent a lot of time with Splatoon 1. And when the Switch came out, I hesitated for a while. I was not ready to get Splatoon 2 for a while, and I put it off, and I finally bought it. And almost immediately after I bought Splatoon 2, Splatoon 3 came out. And so I waited a little while on Splatoon 3, and so yeah, I bought Splatoon 3. I actually did post a video on my TikTok of a unique encounter I had in Splatoon 3, but so far I'm really enjoying Splatoon 3. It's actually not in here, it's still in my Switch, because yeah, it's fun. I think this is such a nice video game series. Nintendo is always very, very, very cartoony and, jokey and fun. This is just such an optimistic, I know it takes place in the future where humanity's dead and destroyed and everything's horrifying, and squids and octopodes have evolved to, take over the world. But ultimately, the fun of this game, where you're just running around, it reminds me a lot of Nickelodeon stuff, really, from when I was a kid. I think of, people being slimed and stuff like that when I play Splatoon. So I have a fondness for Splatoon, and I finally decided, I'm going to pick up Splatoon 3. I actually gave this as a gift to a friend's daughter before I even owned it myself, because she's just now getting into video games, and she had a Switch, and I thought this would be fun for her. And I did that thing where I bought somebody something that I myself haven't tested, but now I've played it, and yeah, Splatoon 3 is fun. All right, 2 more Switch games. Both Metroids. So I'm actually more excited about Metroid Dread than I am Metroid Prime Remastered. And again, I waited for way too long on Metroid Dread. I was really interested in this game when it got announced, and then I basically just forgot about it. I do remember that David Jaffe said something stupid about this, but other than that, yeah, I just completely forgot about it until I wandered in to buy Metroid Prime, and they were right next to each other, and I thought, oh my god, I forgot to buy Metroid Dread. I'm going to get that now. And Metroid Dread actually fulfills more of my interest in Metroid, because as a kid, I only played the original Metroid, not even Super Metroid. I didn't play Super Metroid until, much later on. And so I was much more interested in getting Dread than I was Metroid Prime. Prime, I have a weird relationship with. I did have this game on GameCube, and I didn't really like it at the time. And I've thought about it, and I've thought about replaying it, and it's something that I've thought maybe with age, it'll change, I'll like it differently. And then they announced the remaster. And I thought, you know what, it's cheaper than most Switch games. I actually paid more for Dread than I did Metroid Prime. I'm going to go and buy it, and I will give this a second chance. This was somewhat hard to find, but that's, intentionally created. This is not going to be worth $10,000 if you're out there trying to sit on this because, there's only so few of them. No. This is the exact same situation as the Mario Galaxy Sunshine and 64 re-release. This isn't going to be, a treasure to be had. This is an intentional restriction of stock, and so yeah, this is going to be like any other game. So don't think that this is something special. Moving on to something that was hard to find, and it's hard to find because I lied to myself. I said, maybe I'll get it, maybe I'll get it. and I didn't see it at Walmart, and I thought, oh, okay, you know, I won't get it at Walmart. And oh, you know, while I'm in the mall, I'll go to the local game store in the mall. Oh, they didn't. Oh, you know, maybe I'll pop into GameStop, see what they have. They didn't have it. Oh, I'll go to Target. Why am I going to Target? I never go to Target. I'm just going to Target. I will see what's at Target. And of course, at Target, I got the Resident Evil 4 remake. Resident Evil 4 is another game I have a complicated relationship with because I love the original Resident Evil 4. I love it. I had it on GameCube and PS2. I love Resident Evil 4. I don't like that this set the trend. I didn't want this to be the status quo. And so some of my feelings towards 5 and 6 reflect back onto this game, which is not really fair to the original Resident Evil 4. Whoa, hey, look at that. It's another bad edit. So yeah, I actually had to start over. I had a terrible coughing fit because I've had to re-record this a few times because the weather has screwed with the lights. But basically what I was saying with Resident Evil 4 is the original I have mixed feelings about now just because of the path that it sent Resident Evil down to begin with. I'm not a big fan of the action-oriented take that those later games took, specifically 5 and 6. But the original Resident Evil 4 was great. I even had Leon's jacket. I was that kind of nerd. And so I loved the Resident Evil 2 remake. 3 was okay. It was a little disappointing. But yeah, I kind of took an attitude like, oh, maybe I'll get it, maybe I'll get it. But deep down, I knew I was going to buy this. I've already started this. This, just like Splatoon, it's not in here. I've started playing it already, and it's already great. The Resident Evil 4 remake, I'm super into, even though I was trying to tell myself I wasn't. But yeah, I'm happy to own it. I'm really looking forward to continue playing it, which is what I'm going to do immediately after I finish this. Maybe one other thing, but yeah, that's all my pickups for the month of March 2023. I hope my wasting my hard-earned money on things that bring me a limited form of happiness was satisfying to you. Enjoy the rest of your day.